Hello, this is Rock Cut Ministry Blueshift, and we're talking today about following through with God's plan for your life. Some people are called to do great things, but they don't think much of themselves to follow through with God's plan. Yes, He chose you. Yes, it's real. And yes, you can do this because it's all Him. And when He leads you somewhere, you stay there until you find the purpose for why He sent you there. Now, He gave me the desire of my heart when I wanted to move into a specific house. He even told me to go look at the house, and I refused to look at the house. I said, Lord, somebody already bought the house. Why do you want me to look at something that's already been taken? And, He doesn't answer those questions. He wanted you to find out by looking at the house, right? But I didn't do it. And then 2 years went by, and I was like, I think the Lord is going to show us a place to live, a house. So get rid of all the stuff that you don't need, because it was 4 of us in a 2-bedroom apartment. And I said, let's get ready because the Lord is going to show us a house. So, a few months went by, and I had to turn in one of my cars I was leasing. And the man who was the salesman was the one who bought my sister's house. And he's like asking me a million questions because that's what salesmen do. And he probably had a motive behind it that I knew nothing about. So he said, I can't believe that I bought your sister's house. This is like crazy. And like, yeah, you bought my sister's house, because that was the house the Lord wanted me to look at, because He knew I wanted to live there. But my sister and I moved in the same year. I moved into the apartment and she moved into a different house. And so the Lord was like leading me to go to this specific dealership. For a whole year, He had one of my customers tell me that I had to specifically go to Romano Toyota. And that's not where I picked up this lease, but that's where I dropped it off to get my new one. And then he said he needed a new tenant. Now, right there was the answer as to why the Lord wanted me to look at that house. Because it was vacant before this tenant started living there. It was just a friend of his. He was trying to help out. But then the friend lost his job and couldn't pay the rent. So he had to send him packing. And so if I had gone to see the house and saw it empty, I would have been like, oh my gosh, why is this house empty? I'm not sure if I would have even bothered to find out, because I would have never thought that it would be rented ever. And that is an amazing thing, to be able to rent a house. People don't think so, but, it really is. So, so I told him, I'm your tenant. And I made sure I kept in touch with him because things had to be done to the house. So I'm like, Lord, why do I have to always do this? Why? Why couldn't the house be in perfect condition? Why did they have to ruin it? Well, they had to replace the floor in the kitchen, the wood floor, and do a lot of, makeover stuff. But he had to get it done in 1 week because he was dragging his feet. I'm like, I'm following through with God's plan. I need this place, and I'm getting out of my apartment. They want me out. So, of course, he let me, move in a little early. Just in time, that the floors were ready. So, yeah, it all worked out, and we continued to take care of the house, which is something that he, wanted somebody that was going to be able to take care of this property that he owns. And so this is like seed we're sowing here. We're taking care of another man's property. And God will bless us with our own, because that's how he works. God is amazing. And he's never going to forget your desires because he put them there. We have to follow through with his plan. Now, the Lord has told me my gifts and callings, and he's told other people my gifts and callings too. So developing, I'm stepping out in faith. I got this podcast going. I wrote a book. I got my father's table ministry to help people with meals when they have a baby or surgery or a death in the family. We want to be there for people. And, it's set in place. It hasn't really taken off yet, but it is set in place, and it's going to be right there for people who need it. And another thing he wants to do is pour out his spirit, and he wants to just keep pouring into people. Healing is going to come because people are going to start believing. A lot of people don't even know. They just agree. Jesus, yeah, I believe in Jesus. But the majority of people don't realize, because we live in a modern world where you can have anything at the tip of your fingers. Your phone could be a remote for the TV. Did you know that? It's true. And you've got music coming out of this thing. You've got movies. You can talk to anybody in the world. You can text anybody in the world. Everybody's always developing a new app to communicate. It's just mind-boggling because we're just humans on this earth and the world revolves around us. Yep. Feeding us, clothing us, fun things to do for us humans. That's all this world really is. It's someplace that it's a journey for us, and we're here to fulfill God's plan. And everybody's got to get it right here. You've got to get this right. You must agree with the Lord. Now, if you believe that Jesus is the Son of God, the Holy Spirit has revealed that to you. Now, you have to come in agreement with the Lord. So there's a lot of things we don't understand. And when I don't understand a person's behavior, I need to know more about it and how it comes about. So the majority of people that are not walking with the Lord, that all they want is to be acknowledged and loved. That's what they're looking for. And they will just turn to the first source that shows them those two things. And sometimes those sources are not good sources. It's not something that God approves of. When God said something is not holy, then we should stay away from it. There's a lot of things going on in this world, and people are assuming just because you're single that you're gay. Because about 4 years ago, I was working at a grocery store because I just wanted to get away from my other job. I just needed a break, And the Lord allowed me to leave because, I knew He gave me that job. And I just was tired of, and I couldn't go on that journey anymore. I had to get off the path. So I did for a few months, and it all worked out because my son had to have surgery and I had to time off of work, and it was crazy. It was a crazy month. But we got through it. And so I go work for this grocery store. And I love meeting people, It's just really amazing. And using my pharmacy knowledge when the people come through the line. It's pretty funny. This is a good time. But all these young kids, and they're thinking that I was a lesbian. I'm like, why? Just because I'm single? Come on. That really miffed me. And I had a different view on things back then. I said some things, that I probably shouldn't have said. And then I realized that two of the people that were working there were gay. And I had no idea. And this one girl, she was a cashier. And she liked to draw, and she here she was, a cashier with a unicorn coloring book. I'm like, okay, And then she was telling me about, I